Hello and welcome to the Inbetween Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Scott. I'm joined by Tony Tones at RT. How are you, Tony?
Bonjour, I'm doing good on an actual Sunday. Spooky
Yeah.
Sunday. Well, it's a
Oh,
spooky Sunday.
well. The next podcast will be the Halloween edition where I will unveil my Halloween costume to show everyone this. Actually, yeah. Yeah. That one might not be on a Sunday because I'm going away to a Halloween party. But
Yeah.
whenever it is, I will read on
Well,
just like the Star Trek uniform from last year. It's going to be spookier this time. I'm not going to be
right.
command.
I say
I'm not
Halloween's
going
on
to.
a Thursday this time.
I won't be the sex pest in space, Commander Riker, like I was last year. You know.
Yeah, didn't the Star Trek uniform give you options to be which command you want or which
Well, if I,
character you want to with the
you,
pips?
yeah, you had pips, so you could, if you put on like a random amount of pips, you could be Chief O'Brien. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
or you know,
If you're randomizing
you could be a
it, yeah,
lieutenant, you could be a captain, you know, whatever.
yeah.
But yeah,
A red shirt.
I've been watching a lot of Halloween stuff recently, and a lot of horror stuff, and I've got a load of stuff to pick from for my costume, and I've picked it out. I'm ready to go. This week we're going to be talking about the Nintendo alarm clock. It's the news that everyone's been waiting for.
It's the one.
I told you about this, and you immediately said, "What
Yeah.
the fuck is this?" Like this is your first time hearing
Yeah.
about it. Don't.
Yeah.
I'll give you the full rundown details on the Nintendo
don't.
alarm clock.
Okay.
Anything you're interested to talk about this week?
Well. I think I don't know. It's just Red Dead Redemption on PC. Does seem kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
So I remember like when Red Dead Redemption 1 came out on like Xbox and PlayStation. I remember 2010 came out, so it's like what, almost
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember my friend Dave was like, "Oh," because I was like, "I'm gonna get it on the 360," and he said to me, "No, I'm gonna wait for them to port it to PC." And I was just like, 15 years later, it's finally on PC. It's time to pick up the game.
But I guess it's doing a spooky mode because Undead Nightmare. Is that the
Yeah,
we'll
there's
talk
the
about
there's
that.
the zombie DLC, but I think like
I really want to play the first game. So
yeah, I got it on 360 and it's a pretty good game. I haven't played the second one either, so I'm not sure what the second one's like. But the first game was really good with John Marston. So it was the one where I got the dastardly achievement by accidentally tying a woman up and then tying her to a train tracks and watching her getting run over by a train. That's an achievement in the game.
what was the accident?
I was literally walking around town and I accidentally lassoed a woman. But the way Red Dead Redemption 1 works is there's an honor system, and my honor system was so high that all of the NPCs were like, "We didn't see anything, go ahead." So I was just like, I just like, I just put her on the back of my horse, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this woman now because I've accidentally lassoed her, but I'm not like a bad character. I don't want a bounty or anything.
Go.
So I was just like, you know what? There's a train track over here. I might as well tie it to that. You like in all the cowboy movies, you know, all the Western films, they tie people to train tracks, and yeah, train ran her over. It's an achievement called Dastardly. So there it is. This week I've finished playing Dave the Diver, which is a Korean game that is inspired by Japanese things. So it's a really weird mixture of stuff. Like I was watching an interview with the one of the lead developers of Dave the Diver, and he said, "Yeah, the ocean is inspired by One Piece, and you have like you're a sushi bar, and there's like crazy inspiration there. But it's like, yeah, it's a Korean Nexon game, or Mint Rocket is the name of the studio inside Nexon. Speaking of spooky games, I've played Scorn, which is like a first-person horror thing, and I played it for about 15-20 minutes, and I was like, this is a hidden puzzle game. Like, literally, the game starts and it's one big puzzle, and I was like, fuck this shit.
It's basically walking sim puzzle, right?
I played Still Wakes the Deep, which is the brand new horror walking sim from the Chinese Room, which I've now learned is apparently a psychological experiment. I had no idea they were named after that. And
now we know.
they are the creators of like Amnesia Machine for Pigs, which I haven't played. Dear Esther, I think they did, which I also haven't played but heard good things about. And what's it called? The Apple Arcade game. Let me look this up quickly. Little Orpheus, which I played on Apple Arcade and it later got ported to PC. And so I've played 2 Chinese Room games. And what I can say about Chinese Room games is they build really good like atmosphere and interesting characters and worlds, and then you sort of just walk through them and do really light puzzles. They're sort of all just like walking simulators in interesting places. That is what the Chinese Room does like very well. I 100% I completed that, and I can't believe Scottish people are real. That's the true horror of being on a Scottish oil rig.
I feel like we both agreed that if you're not an English speaker or like, from England itself, you're going to need subtitles.
Yeah, I was like saying, my Swedish friend was like, I'm thinking about playing this game, and I'm like, I dare you to play it without the subtitles. You will be so confused. I was confused by a bunch of the words, so like, yeah. I've also 100% completed 5 Hearts Under One Roof. Do I need to say 100. More? I mean, okay, so 5 Hearts Under One Roof is a South Korean FMV dating romance game. I sort of was looking through new releases, and I saw it had a demo, and I was like, oh, this would be really funny to stream. And then I got like really into it, and I was like, oh, I think I really like this game. I've just started playing the classic version of Catherine, because I played Persona this year. I've been playing spooky games. Oh, by the way, 5 Hearts Under One Roof, not a spooky game. I just wanted to play it. Catherine Classic is super interesting because it's a mixture of like romance horror, and it's like a early-ish Atlas game, but it's still like after Persona. So it's like this weird mix of like block puzzle game and like decision interpersonal like relationship stuff. I've been playing it for like 30 minutes and I'm so fucking confused. Like it is very, and I gotta say, like I'm really bad at the puzzle mechanics, and the game is very heavily puzzle based, and I'm worried about this game because I've heard the puzzles start to get insanely difficult, and I'm already struggling with the basic puzzles, and like to a point, because there's 2 different versions of Catherine. One that's exclusive for the consoles called Catherine. I want to say Full Tilt Edition, but I know that's not what it's called. Full Body Edition. And that even
difference?
I don't know. I haven't looked up any of the differences because I'm trying to go in as blind as possible in terms of like the actual story. Because I think there might be some slightly different story stuff in the different editions. But what I do know is that there exists what's called a safety mode in the Full Body Edition, which lets you actually just full on skip puzzles, which I would love. But I'm not allowed. Yeah. I have to play through every puzzle in this edition of the game, so I might actually get like soft locked. Like, you know how I am with puzzles and stuff, so I might actually get stuck at some point. To a point where I tried to start the game in normal, and it's like, you should play this game in easy. And I was like, maybe you're right. So on easy mode in Catherine, you get an undo button, and I would recommend most people try an easy mode.
Yeah.
Because like it's hard enough, like climbing the tower and moving the blocks, but it's like an easy mode makes it a bit easier. And then also not games. I finished Carol and Tuesday, the Watanabe show he made with Netflix, and quick thoughts, it's probably the weakest Watanabe show I've seen. I'm not a big fan of Carol and Tuesday. It also does not have Yoko Kanno, who does the amazing music of a lot of Watanabe shows. It's a show that's straight up about music, but it's fucking all over the place. Also, I wrote down 5 Hearts Under One Roof again under not games. I guess you could say that's not a game. It's definitely one of my passions. trying to rizz up Korean women. You told me to watch Mushishi, and I have watched the first 8 to 9 episodes of Mushishi.
Okay.
So I'd be interested to talk about that with you, because you said you haven't watched it in like 10 years or something, and you've also never seen the second series either. I've also been watching Dandadan, which I think I talked about. It's coming out weekly, so I'm watching Dandadan, which is another
current thing.
Action. It's also like a comedy horror sort of thing, I would say. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Like the animation is really, as my lights keep flickering on and off, and they've gone out now. I hope I'm not in the midst of a power cut. My lights just went out. Guys, I'm still here.
Lights. Is this a desk light or is this a room light?
No, it's my room light. I don't have a desk light.
Okay. Okay.
I might be this is making my arms disappear. Ooh, I don't have enough light.
That is pretty spooky.
It's been flickering off all day, and I'm like, something's going. I remember when I was playing like Phasmophobia, my lights kept flickering, and I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I've been watching 365 Days to the Wedding, Tony. I refuse to stop watching dumb romance anime shit. I 100% admit this is just my personal like shit that I like. But it's basically, I think the setup is so funny because it's essentially 2 employees find out that someone's going to get moved to they work at a travel agency, and one person's going to get moved to their branch in Alaska, but they found out that they will prioritize people who are single and not married. So these 2 employees are like, well, we have to pretend to get married. And that's like because they don't want to go to Alaska. One guy's like, I can't go to Alaska because I can't leave my cat behind. And the other woman's like, I just don't want to fucking go to Alaska. So that's the whole plot of it. Because like it's a pretend marriage thing, so it reminds me of Spy X Family, which is another great show about a pretend marriage. And then last week I was we were talking about Mushishi. I've watched the first 2 episodes of Uzumaki, and last week we were talking about Mushishi, and I said, this looks more like Miyazaki than Junji Ito. And I've been watching Uzumaki, which is a Junji Ito story turned into a anime. And the first episode, just completely coincidentally, is directed by the director of Mushishi. So I just thought that was a crazy connection that just came out of nowhere. So I guess because Uzumaki is like such a the first episode is really good. Like the entire thing is in black and white. So like, and it's been delayed for like 5 years. So it's like, oh, you don't need to put color in. It's been delayed so much. The first episode is really strong. And then the second episode comes out. It's using like 3D animation that looks like a PS2 game. And then everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? And then the director's posting on Twitter like, look, we just ran out of fucking budget and time. We're just going to release it as it is. And people are like, what the fuck is going on with this show? And everyone's just like, you know what? Junji Ito adaptations are cursed. Like, yeah. Because there was like...
That would be a good one.
If you don't know who Junji Ito is, type Junji Ito into Google Images, and then you'll either wish you didn't do that or you'll be very intrigued. But he's a very famous like horror artist. Known for like, I don't know if you've ever seen the image, this is my hole, this hole is meant for me, like that meme and stuff like that. But Uzumaki is the story of a town that is obsessed with spirals. So he relies a lot on like body horror, but it's also like really intriguing from a psychological perspective. The fact that he's, you know, the art is so good because everyone just starts seeing spirals everywhere. Like there's dust tornadoes for no reason, and there's like whirlpools in all the lakes, and like suddenly their eyes start spinning, and then like I don't know if you've ever seen the image of the woman, and she has her face is like a spiral, and it's like it goes fucking wild. There was a moment in like, I think it was in the first episode where I just like, I physically cringed at the body horror that I saw. I was like, oh, this is uncomfortable. Like it's a good story and I want to see it through, but I don't have a lot of faith based on the second episode because the quality has just dropped off a cliff. And the first
There's only been
episode
2
was so
episodes.
strong. Yeah, I don't know if the third.
Okay.
I think the third episode might come out today. I have to check.
Okay.
But it's being done with Adult Swim, I think, and then a team as well. I'm not sure. Anyway. I'm just looking at my light flickering above me. I'm going to try to turn it off and on again. The classic.
Do I need to choose one of these? I feel like...
Yeah, you choose one of them. I've turned my light off and it's still flickering, so I don't know what's happening.
That's spooky.
I'm gonna have to change that later. Guys, the Halloween podcast is a couple of weeks early.
I just like when are we gonna speak about 5 Huts Under One Roof any other
There
point?
will 100% be a tangerine on five. I will not let there not be a tangerine on 5 Huts Under One Roof.
Don't know. What do you have a preference?
Yes, I want to talk about 5 Huts Under One Roof, but I thought you would want to talk about Mushishu.
Well,
because
that can come later. We'll do that later. I feel like
okay.
Get 5 Huts Under One Roof out of the way.
What do you mean out of the way? Because I've finished it, but we will be talking about it again. I guarantee.
That's true.
I'm telling you now. It's 2000. We're almost in 2024. We haven't done the meme awards for last year. We 100%. We 100% will be doing a video on 5 Huts Under One Roof. I have to talk about this. Yeah, 5 Huts Under One Roof. So, a bit of history of FMV games. I think this all kind of started with Super Seducer. So, when did Super Seducer come out? Let's have a look.
2018 or something? Or 2017?
Yeah, let's have a look. I remember one being in 2018. So, 2018, Super Seducer, How to Talk to Girls. I think what happened here is Richard, the guy, was like, oh, I'm a pickup artist. I can make an informational video game on how to pick up women, right? But then he was like, well, I can't just always give them the right answer. I have to give them a wrong answer. And people started playing it and they got the wrong answer and they were like, this is pretty funny.
Well, there's also some right answers which are kind of like, this doesn't seem like the right answer as well, which I think played into it. It's just I think then in the sequel, it's like, well, I'm going to play into that.
So then what happened in Super Seducer 2 was okay, we're going full memes and isn't there Super Seducer 2? There's a side plot about a terrorist trying to set off a bomb and they're just let's just go fucking wild. And people love that stuff. Then we have, I think it was last year, there was, I can't remember what it was called. There was a bunch of Love is All Around. I just typed Chinese FMV game. We got a ton of these Chinese girl dating FMV games, and they got really popular because people were streaming them on Twitch. People really liked them. So I saw this, and I was like, I have never played one of these romance dating sim sort of things. And I was like, it's on the new releases. It has a demo. Let me try it out. And I got to say, 10 out of 10. Great game. I gave it 5 stars and one other person had rated it on backlog and it had a 5-star rating. And I was like, well, I can't beat a 5-star rate. I can't stop this 5-star rating, But yeah, because I was I spoke to some friends on Discord and I was like, I should stream this game to you. And they were excited about it. And I was like, well, I think the game's £15. It's pretty cheap. And I was like, well, I got to get the full game now to get the full experience. But yeah, it's fairly well made. It's all Korean audio and then it's got English subtitles. And it's basically the way it works is you have this, your choices depend how you go through this sort of map. And so the thing that confused me at first is the first two, there's 6 chapters and the first 2 chapters are epilogues. And you can basically, because you have positive and negative actions for the women. And if you don't get enough points after the first 2 chapters, you can't progress to the next chapter, which I found
So you have
kind
to
of
make
odd.
some good decisions.
But that really confused me because the game didn't tell you that. It was just like, nah, you can't go through. So I was really confused, and I was trying to replay the 3rd chapter again. But what I had to do was like replay it from the beginning again to get to fill this bar. But you didn't have to fill the bar in the first couple of episodes. I think that should have been explained a bit better.
Yeah.
Um,
They should give you the target initially so you knew what you were aiming for.
yeah. But yeah, that also there is some like there's hidden endings, and there's like some of the wrong endings are pretty funny. My biggest wish for this game was it was longer, and there was better explained how the affinity system works. It was longer, and there was more like opportunity to just completely go off on a completely different path. I understand that would add way more complexity and time, but I was watching some of the behind the scene interviews, and they basically said like, yeah, if people like the game, we want to make a second one. Because like I looked into it, and apparently like the people who do this, they have a YouTube channel called Milk Films where they make short films with the girls in the game. So they already like the game, like the filming and the actual like acting is fairly competent. It's not the best, but it's like it's pretty good for what it is.
Yeah.
And if they do another one of these, I'll definitely be checking it out. I mean, I know my.
Sorry, what
were you gonna say?
In your criticism, they need to have more than one song.
Yeah, so they have this like one of the characters, Ming Young or Ming Ming, is in a fictional K-pop band, because that's one of the threads is you can date a K-pop idol, and Ming Young, this woman, and she's in a fictional band called the Milk Girls, and they play this one song. It's like so sweet, sweet, like ice cream, and they play this one song throughout the entire game over and over again. And even when you're like, you go on a date with Si Young, and you're like, you're wearing like a hanboks at like a traditional like Korean spot, like historical spot, and I'm going nuts. I'm like, wait a minute, this is the Milk Girls again, but it's the classical theme. It's the same song but on piano.
It's the only one they've got.
Some of the characters, I was very like, without giving it too much away, Sung Yi is introduced halfway through the game, and the way she's introduced is like, this makes no sense and is borderline problematic. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They list her as like a shy character, and like the way that I interpreted, I was like, it almost feels like she has like the character has borderline like development learning issues.
Yeah,
because
like she doesn't know stuff that's really obvious, and it's like, sorry, that's more than just being shy. Like that doesn't quite add up.
But I will go fully. There'll be an hour and a half long video on. I don't want. If I start talking about the intricacies of this, I will go for like an hour. But I'll just say I went in. I saw the promotional posters. I thought Gran would be the best girl just based on the images. I went into it initially Ming Young, but I'm thinking after the 100%, it's got to be Kunbi for me. That's the best girl. There it is. I know. A lot of my friends are big fans of Gran, and they were looking up flights to Korea based on seeing the women in the game. But yeah, and also, there's a voting system in the game, so people can you unlock these additional love letters, and you can go into the rankings. You can say who is your favorite character, and just to show you, Sung Yi was losing to Sausage Man at one point, who is an optional character for the gay ending. You can kiss Sausage Man in this game. I think stuff like that is really funny. The fact that you can ignore all the girls and you can just be like, look, I just want to romance Sausage Man. But yeah, guys, Sausage Man was beating him. I gave 100 love letters to Sausage Man, and we're still like a couple of hundred away from overtaking Sung Yi again. So if you could all buy this game and give more love letters to Sausage Man, that would really help out. Also, the images on the store page, this scene doesn't exist in the game. I think these must be like beta images, because the game doesn't show you how much affection you give as a physical number. It just shows you as positive or negative, which I think is probably a better change for the game, because knowing the number doesn't really change anything. It just makes it less complicated. Anyway. But yeah, Tony, I have been playing Five Hearts Under One Roof, and I would highly recommend it. I think it's really fun. Especially if you can... Basically what I did was I just got the game and got a bunch of friends on Discord and just streamed it to them and been like, look at the crazy stuff you can do on this game. I thought that was a really fun experience. And I'm intrigued now to try out like the Super Seducers and the Love is something. I just literally look. Love is all around and stuff like that. But I thought this was interesting because there's Super Seducer. There was a ton of Chinese one, and this is the first Korean one I've seen. And I'm like, I like Korean ladies, so I'll check this one out.
You're straight into this one.
Yeah.
Not spooky though, but yeah.
It's not Halloween. Well, it's not Halloween yet.
Spooky season. Spooky month.
Yeah. As I said, like, I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I said I'm going to be less militant about spooky season. I'm still playing spooky games, but if there's something interesting I want to play, I'm going to play it. So.
There's no point going, I'm only going to play this because like, you're not feeling it.
The whole idea of
something else is different.
Doing spooky season was that I, for many years, was ignoring Halloween and was like, I don't like Halloween. And then I was like doing more Halloween games and films and stuff. And I was like, actually, I kind of like Halloween. So the idea was just to get me more in the mood for it, like I would, around Christmas when I'm like, oh, I got to listen to Christmas songs and look at all these Christmas films and stuff like that. Just helps like set the mood. Anyway, let's move on to trailers. This week we have an announcement of the Tomb Raider 4 to 6 games are being remastered. So the first 3 were remastered, and now we're getting the next 3 being remastered. I've heard that people have very mixed opinions on these games. They're not as classic as the other Tomb Raider games. We know. I think people say like Angel of Darkness. I can't remember which one that is, but people say Angel of Darkness is like it's pretty much a bad game. So it'd be interesting to see what it's like in remastered form. But again, it's another Aspyr remaster of the Tomb Raider games. People seem to really like the first remaster, and it came out on February 14th, which they weren't releasing it on Valentine's Day. Apparently that's Lara Croft's birthday, which is also Valentine's Day.
Oh, is it?
So,
I didn't know that.
But they're releasing on February 14th again in 2025 because of the significance of Lara Croft's birthday. Yeah. I just thought they were doing a Valentine's thing, personally. I had no idea that it was the birthday of Lara Croft.
Yeah, so, I didn't know the deep lore.
Yeah. Or people were saying, oh, it's Valentine's for lonely people. They can have Lara Croft,
Yeah, I mean, that works.
And then Joe's Weird VR Game of the Week. Bugsnax is getting a VR mode. So Young Horse reveals Bugsnax VR. Beta on Steam, available now for free. So I looked into this. It's not like full hand tracked like VR. It's very much just you can look around in VR and then press button to interact sort of thing. So it's not the kind of conversion I would like. It's very much just a simple VR version of Bugsnax, but it's still probably it's still nice that you have the option for this. I don't think this will be how I'll play Bugsnax, but it's nice to know that it's now possible to play Bugsnax in VR. Like, I just really want VR games that are built from the ground up with like full VR interactions. Otherwise, it just doesn't feel like it's really worth it. Oh, speaking of Spooky Month, I have Resident Evil 4, the Meta Quest port of it. So I should play that.
Oh.
For Spooky Month. Yeah. Because I haven't played that yet. I got it when it was on sale. What are you going to say?
You haven't played the non-VR at all, have you, right?
I played very briefly Resident Evil 4 on the Wii when I was younger. But I never played more than the Wii version of Resident Evil 4. Yeah, and it had like motion controls. So I'm once again going to be playing the motion control version of Resident Evil 4.
The better one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see like. I hope they release like the updated version on PC because it's weird that we have Resident Evil 4 VR twice. One is a MetaQuest exclusive version that's the old Resident Evil 4, built to be a VR game, and then there's a new version that's taking the remastered Resident Evil 4 and making it into a VR version, but it's exclusive to the PSVR 2, and Resident Evil 7 VR is a PSVR 1 exclusive. Like,
yeah, it's very
Capcom
weird.
keeps doing weird VR stuff and then just being like, but it's exclusive to this random system. I don't know. I don't like that approach. Announcements. Alien Isolation is officially getting a sequel. They announced that it's the 10th anniversary of Alien Isolation. I guess it was 2014 it came out. And they've announced that they are... It's 10 years. They're working on a brand new Alien Isolation game, which is really cool to see. Then next up we have... Red Dead Redemption is finally coming to PC, and Undead Nightmare, they're going to be bundled together. It's coming to PC the 29th.
Just in time for Halloween.
I'm assuming it's going to be... It's 011 again, which I believe did the PlayStation 5 port of... and the Switch port of Resident Evil... Red Dead Redemption, which added FSR 2... or FSR... upscaling, higher quality icons, 4K texture support. This is confirmed to be adding 4K up to 144 hertz. So does that mean the engine won't go above 144? Support for both ultra-wide, super ultra-wide, HDR10 support, full keyboard and mouse, DLSS, FSR, frame generation technologies. And it'll be available on Steam and the Epic Games Store. But yeah, Tony, I don't know if you looked at how much would you pay for this? Let's ask you that first. I don't know if you've looked at the price.
I was actually just thinking, like, how much did it come out? How much was it when it came out? It's like, it was like after the 30.
My memory of games, of how much games cost, is like I just remember PS2 games costing like 20 quid, but I don't think that was the case.
No, I don't think that was the case. I think they were 30 quid for sure. I'm 100% sure. My memory is like maybe they go down to like 28 if they're like maybe it was like sub like pounds. This is like it's like £28 for a PS2 game, and then it's just like under £40 for PS3.
If you were browsing Steam, you want to play Red Dead Redemption, and you go, "Oh, it's this price. I'm going to buy it." What price is that?
Well, okay, so right. That's like because like Undead Nightmare was a DLC.
Hang on, you cut out. What did you say?
Oh, sorry. Undead Nightmare was a DLC originally, right?
Yeah, it was a DLC that came later.
So it's a game plus DLC. And it's now in like higher resolution, higher frame for PC. I don't know. I thought like it's an older game, I suppose, but I think 40 or like even like 45 would still be pretty good.
Okay. It costs £40.
Nice.
So you consider buy. I personally think that's too expensive. It's a remaster of a 15-year-old game. I think this should be closer to like £20. Like no, I think like £20. I think like £20. I think like it's not like a full remaster. They've literally just it's like a PC
It's not
port.
remade. It's just
it has upscaling and it has slightly better textures. It's not like Destroy All Humans or so where they've rebuilt the game from the ground up. But even then, you look at like those Destroy All Human games, and then they're remakes of like PS2 era games, and they're like £25 for Destroy All Humans, which I think is So I would look at this and I would go like £25. That seems about.
Isn't it 35 for Destroy All Humans 2 though? I thought
is it? Have you just looked it up?
Yeah. When you were searching for it.
Destroy. Yeah. So it's 30. I wonder what it's like on sale. It goes down to about 27 for the second one.
It says Red Dead is much longer than any Destroy Humans game. like to me, it's like yes, it's old, and yes, they're just like remastering it. But yeah, I guess if they're just remastering, not changing like the underlying code. Yeah, maybe it should be like 35. I
Just
don't
what
know.
like
It's close enough for me. I'm okay with the
obviously
price.
people want this, but is there so much demand for Red Dead Redemption on PC that people are like, oh, I have to get this day one for like £40? Because when I bought Red Dead Redemption 2, it was like 10, 15 pounds. Like it was on a big sale of however much it was. Like it was not expensive. Like for me, I see this and I go, yeah, I want to play Red Dead Redemption again, but I'm like, I can wait for this to go on sale. Like I don't need this on release.
I would assume this.
You've gone again. I don't know if it's me or you.
Sorry, what?
You cut out again. I don't know if it's me or you.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's this.
But what are you saying?
Items go on sale very quickly, so
Yeah, I will say. I mean, it's not an exclusive to the Epic Games Store Rockstar launcher, so that's very nice to see.
No, that's good.
And then we also have Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles. Watch the trailer first, Tony, because it's another remaster of a game I've never heard of. But it's also a remaster of a Star Wars game by Aspyr, and those have been like hit or miss. They did like a really poor job on Battlefront, and then they did a pretty good job on the Bounty Hunter one.
Same people.
So the thing is, I have no context for what this game was, but I think it was like a PlayStation GameCube era. I'm not sure, but it was like somewhere around there, and they've added a bunch more characters and modes to it. So, watching the trailer, you're looking at this, you're like, I'm curious to try this out because I'm like, this looks fucking wild. What the heck? Like, I've never heard of this game, and it just looks so weird. Yeah.
I'm just thinking. I've been playing what's the Little Big Planet game where it's not Little Big Planet? Well, it is Little Big Planet, but it's not Little Big Planet's main series. What's that called?
Sackboy. You've been
It's
playing
kind of
this.
reminds me of that. Where it's like it says Couch Co-op. It's like, is it like one screen but two characters on the same screen? That's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah, I think you can. Like, I think this is 2-player because you can see 2 separate scores and rider bikes.
Yeah, but there's only one screen, so
Yeah.
I guess it's like that. Very weird, but I don't know. I guess
We'll have to wait and see on this one.
Yeah, I've never heard of this. So.
And then, they announced that they're making a third Pathological game, which I don't know if you've ever seen the Pathological games, but these are like these games are like these games feel like bait for like essayist YouTubers, where they like the actual game itself doesn't matter, but like
simple.
the YouTube essays that come out from this will just span like 20 hours long sort of thing. I don't know. I've never played Pathological, but it always looks like hell to actually play a Pathological game.
Yeah.
So
it seems like they've got a really interesting premise, but a pretty boring. I mean, not boring, but like a game I wouldn't want to actually play.
But they're doing a third one, so there it is.
Yeah,
I guess it releases. Liar's Bar came out, and it's sort of like a PvP social deduction game. I only know about this because I saw Forsen streaming on Twitch, and I thought it looked kind of interesting. It's like, it's such a weird setup. It's like a bunch of anamorphic characters playing like liar's dice and then card bluffing, and then you have to like shoot a revolver if you get it wrong, which has like blanks and lives in it. It kind of reminds me of Buckshot Roulette, where it's like taking a very simple concept but steeping it in like a weird atmosphere and adding like a multiplayer component to it. I see what people are saying about it. It costs £5. If the dev wants the game to survive 1 month, they'll fix the host leaving issue. It's literally a dead game. Otherwise, salty 12-year-olds leave as soon as they're out, and they host the game never stops. Reverse psychology and manipulation skills come in handy in this game. It's fun. The time flew when I played. Buy it to support the devs. While the game itself is enjoyable, there's a recurring issue where joining lobbies hosted by other players often, if the host dies early in the game, they abandon the set. So it seems like there's a problem with joining random people's lobbies because if the host leaves, then the whole game shuts down, but people seem to like the game overall. Okay.
Yeah, so I had to look at passing over code or something.
Kill Knight came out, which is the demo I played in the previous Demo Fest, which is like a twin stick shooter that reminded me of Hyperdemon. What was that? The game that Hyperdemon also made.
Is it the Trigger one?
What was it called? I'm blanking on it. Devil Daggers. I love Devil Daggers. I think the game's really interesting. It's like a fast-paced arena shooter, and this looks like right up that alley. Let's see what people are saying. The game gets right into a flow state. It requires full attention and focus, and it's so much fun. I can't play it for long. I'm so spent after a good run that I can't make 2 good runs in a row, but I love every second of it. I realize it doesn't try to get you hooked by serving you alternative activities, some action, some dialogue, some exploration. It's like, F all this shit. It's all go, go, go. There are no microtransactions or a season pass. It doesn't try to be anything else, overextend and fumble. It does only a few things, and it does them perfectly. Deep, ultra-responsive combat, gorgeous visuals and audio. Like, it takes one thing and it does it really well. And from the demo, I was like, yeah. It has this concept of you are quick, fast-paced combat in a small arena that, you know, gets more and more enemies. And, yeah, I think it is a cool game, but I think it requires a lot of focus and time commitment to like actually get deeper into it, I would say. So then next up we have 5 Hearts Under One Roof came out on the 3rd of October. I actually said I wasn't going to buy any more games this year, but you know, when you see a game like this, you have to pick it up.
Yep.
What are people's actual reviews on this? Okay, I'm just recently posted 4 hours. I'm moving to Korea. I need more. Attractive girls, very appealing if you appreciate the Korean beauty aesthetic. Strong performances both in acting and voice acting. Humorous storylines that may not be exceptional, but is enjoyable enough to bring a smile to your face. Decent soundtrack with a main theme that is quite memorable. It was very memorable for me. User-friendly interface that is clean and easy to navigate. Cons, there are some translation errors. Enjoying this game reflects how lonely I feel in real life. Yeah, so this game, like, the start of this year, I was playing Persona, and I was like, this game really appeals to lonely people. And I was like, but I'm also really enjoying this game. And then I started watching romance anime, and I was like, this really appeals to lonely people. And I'm really enjoying this. And I'm playing 5 Hearts Under One Roof, and I'm like, this really appeals to lonely people. And I'm really enjoying this. And I'm like, wait a minute. What's going on here? Maybe, you know... Like this review, men play, men in love, men cry, bros. This game is going to slowly kill you from the inside. Don't buy this game. Go outside and talk to real women. Anyway, Malsuk number 1. Sausage Man DLC. That was very helpful. You too can enjoy the bliss of being fed sexy sausages from the one and only Sausage Man. I have never felt more alive than when I looked into his eyes and felt my heart melt from his steely gaze. All else fell away. I went in and kissed his handsome bearded face. 100% recommend. The only possible improvement is with a saucy sausage DLC. Just remember, girls are temporary, sausages are forever. That is literally not true. Marry me, please, Grant. Like this is another game where I'm like, this is Garfield Kart level reviews.
Yeah.
Where like it doesn't matter how much of an algorithm you put on these reviews. There's no saving this review section.
Yeah, there's not enough of them either to like sort out, right?
I this guy says a perfect dive into the world of Korean FMVs. Is there another one? I've never seen any other Korean FMV. Doesn't mention the other ones. Does he know? Okay, this seems like an actual well thought review, but it's deep down here. A socially isolated and complex character. No, I disagree with this. She is not. She's a simple character and seems like a simple person in general.
I feel like they really just thought that they
I
put
will.
more emphasis
I
on
will
more
explain in the
people going for it.
Tangerine. But yes,
Yeah.
Wizard of Legend 2. I played the demo of this and I wasn't a biggest fan of it. It felt kind of clunky and it seems like it's got mixed reviews on Steam. So let's see what people are saying. There are a lot of people up in arms about this game, but I played and loved the original. I love this early access so far. I love the art style. The gameplay is smooth and responsive, and the voice actors are good. Right now, the voice lines are pretty repetitive and annoying. The light living daylights out of me, but I'm confident this will get better with more development time. The combat is deep and shows many signs of getting deeper. As development processes, there are bugs, and they've been releasing hotfixes, and none of them are game-breaking. I'm really enjoying the game already, and I'm excited to see where it goes. The game is good and fun, especially for early access. Buggy, unbalanced, generally lacking in polish. Does everything I was looking for when I came from Wizard of Legend 1. Okay.
So these seem even the positives seem like kind of mixed to me. I don't know. Wait.
The original one was known for its challenging and skill-based combat, which made it a bit fun. However, the sequel feels too easy, making progress less satisfying. I don't know, I just felt like... Because I was playing the demo, I was like, I don't want to spend loads of time investing stuff into upgrades, but then again, the actual gameplay was like... I just wasn't that impressed with it, I don't know. Until Dawn has come out, and Tony, let me tell you, it says mostly positive now. It was not mostly positive when this thing released.
Oh, was it not? What
They
happened?
released it. Oh man, it's unoptimized.
Oh, okay.
£60.
Ooh. Okay.
And yeah, I think it was like not even so. Tony, the cutscenes are stuttering. They're not holding like a stable frame rate. Yes, there is stutter in video playback.
So their playback solution is broken. Okay.
So what? Another thing they did was the original Until Dawn is from like a fixed camera perspective where you walk around a room, more like a old Silent Hill or Resident Evil game.
Oh,
They've changed it now to be an over-the-shoulder camera when you move around, which I think would make moving around feel better. But then, yeah, it might really ruin the atmosphere. People are also complaining that the game doesn't look that much better than the original in terms of how it looks. I would say, like, I think graphically, I think because they did get some of the actors in to like retake some of the stuff.
Okay.
I think it definitely does look better, but I think there is like a big lighting difference where it looks different, sort of thing. Where it does the textures and the resolution is higher, the shadows are better, but artistically it looks different, and people are saying like because the original Until Dawn like looked very good.
Yeah. It had a style.
So let's see. I genuinely enjoy the remake for the most part as someone who's only ever seen other people play the game. I think the biggest positive is the fact that we can play Until Dawn on PC now.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you first boot up the game, you have to sign into a PSN account. The game doesn't feel optimized despite having way better than the recommended settings. I still got a few lag through the game. It was fine during the actual game, but such interesting cutscenes into gameplay and vice versa would sometimes lag. Mixed feelings about the music. I came across a couple of bugs throughout the game. The characters are weirdly difficult to control sometimes, especially in smaller spaces. This was also in the original too, but I really didn't like the lock camera feature. This happened a lot through the game, especially if you collected something with the camera will lock into a certain position and you can't move. Despite the original game looking good, the enhanced graphics of the remakes look incredible and a big step up. The lighting also looks good. It's very atmospheric and dynamic, and the colours feel a bit more vibrant, which I don't have an issue with. I'm seeing some people saying they miss the blue tint that the lighting had in the original, but I don't mind that. The prologue especially had an overhaul which had added new scenes. The don't move mechanic has been translated well from consoles to PC, as with keyboard and mouse you don't have motion control element. Obviously the story itself is a masterpiece. Overall I did enjoy playing it. Yeah, I'm wondering if like people are less harsh on it because we have it on PC now.
Yeah.
Like, if there was already a PC version that was equivalent to the PS4 version, I wonder what people's opinion would be on it. I think the biggest thing is the fact that it's, cutscenes are stuttering and it costs £60. It's like, if you're going to release a broken game on launch, you can't charge like insane full price for it.
No.
It's just a big red flag. Speaking of remakes of horror games, Silent Hill 2 came out on the 8th of October.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like people are very positive on this. Lives up to the legacy of the original while providing new experiences that enhance yet respect the narrative and themes that make Silent Hill 2 2001 the best horror game ever made. 10 out of 10 work of art. Now please buy this game. I remember people, I was when this was coming out and people heard it was Bloober Team, people were clowning on Bloober Team, and they were making montages of, I think it was like Layers of Fear, saying, oh, they can't do horror. But after playing the medium from the Bloober Team, I was like, I think Bloober Team could do a really good job making a Silent Hill game. And it turns out, people seem to really like this.
I think as well, I think it's worth knowing is they weren't making the game again; they're remaking the game, which is different.
Oh, also something to
They've
point out,
already had the
Tony.
blueprints.
Silent Hill 2 has stutter struggle.
Yeah.
There is technical issues with this. I think the game overall seems to be a very good remake, but there is definitely stutter, and there is a lot of optimization that could be done to Silent Hill 2. But it seems like for the most part people really like it. I'm interested to as someone who's never played a Silent Hill game, I'm very intrigued to play this version of Silent Hill.
Oh, one thing I did is it Digital Foundry video I was watching that said the bosses actually had better rooms in this one than the original. So,
oh right,
yeah.
This screenshot reminds me of the medium so much.
Yeah. Well, I think the medium is very much inspired by it.
But yeah, next up we have the Lego Harry Potter collection. I think one of a head scratcher remake. I was literally talking to they were like, oh, I never finished playing the Lego Harry Potter games. And I was like, oh, they did a remaster of it. And she was like, I bought it on PC and PlayStation. I'm not buying it again. It's like, well, to be honest with you, you don't really need to buy it again because this remake, it's slightly higher resolutions. It's slightly better frame rate on some of the later games that struggle. It probably runs a bit better on modern systems. Honestly, if you've already got the Harry Potter collection, I don't really know who this is for. People seem to be pretty positive about it, and I think you get a discount if you loyalty discount. So because I own the Lego Harry Potter games, I get 50% off. So it's only £16 for me, whereas it normally would cost £30. I'm finally able to play this game with achievements. The game brings back so many memories. Definitely one of the best LEGO games. I wish they had done a remake like they did with Star Wars to add more gameplay and dialogue. Please add Fantastic Beasts. But hey, it is what it is. Runs good on PC and Steam Deck. Fun games. Looks decent. Cash grab, debatable. I feel like the game in general is much better optimized than the original release. For the loyalty discount, $20, I'd say it's worth it. You get achievements. It is a huge win for those who collect them.
Wait, it's $20? I thought it was £25.
It's £16 for me with the loyalty discount. America and UK, very different. People were saying years 5 to 7 had constant FPS drops, and in some areas Diagon Alley seemed to be the Diagon Alley frame drops also gone. So it seems like some of the later games had issues, but they have solved with this. There's also support for cloud save. So there's higher resolution textures, better UI, includes DLC characters. You have achievements and you get cloud saves, and it fixes up some of the later FPS drops. But honestly, if you already have the games, you probably don't have to buy it again. There's not much point, I would say. This is more for people who haven't played the games, I would say. Shady Night came out on the 9th of October, and this is a game I played in Steam Next Fest, I want to say fucking 4 years ago, and I was like, that was pretty fun, and then I never heard from it again. But it was essentially like a fast-paced, like first-person, melee-driven, like it was a schmovement like combat game. Have you heard that term before? Schmovement?
No.
Smooth
No.
movement. So, like for example,
okay, right.
Ultra Kill is a schmovement game, or
Yeah.
Hot Lava, or like a game with like really fast-paced, like clean movement. I think like schmovement games are like games that really appeal to me. So let's have a look. I think just finishing the game would be enough, but I can't stop playing this game. Is peak adrenaline action and testament to the fact that adding a grappling hook to a game is a great idea. There's pretty hard skill checks that the game requires for you to move forward and finish, but once you realize what you can do, and you can do everything right from the start, the game just keeps getting better and better. Very fun game. I played Ultra Kill to death before, so I wouldn't say that this game was very difficult for me. However, for someone new to this type of game, I would say it would be a fun and rewarding experience. I didn't get frustrated at how often I would launch myself off the map. That's more of an issue with my gameplay since it's very hard to get off map in most Ultra Kill. Yeah, I guess in Ultra Kill you're like in buildings most of the time, whereas this you're just on a tower in the middle of an abyss. It's sort of a difference between the two. Yeah, the core combat is great. The look and feel is wonderful. Just didn't feel complete. It's not an FPS, and since there are no real levels, it's just a list of 1-minute challenges. I didn't care about getting S ranks. Not for me. If looking for something more than that, what feels like extra mode you unlock after a full game, you might be let down. 4 out of 5 for 10 from this guy. So he was saying it felt a bit bare bones. That could be a fair assessment. Let's move on. Oh, there's a new Dragon Ball fighting game, and every year I'm reminded that people fucking love Dragon Ball fighting games. This came out on the 10th of October.
I can't really get into Dragon Ball, but it's just not for me.
I think I attempted to watch a Dragon Ball series one time and was like, you know what? I just don't want to put in the effort to watch all of these. It's very much like... It's definitely one of the most popular animes ever made, Dragon Ball, and it's also like... I'm guessing that this game definitely got a massive boost from the fact that people were very distraught after Toriyama's death. So, but it's nice to see, like, because people do generally really seem to love these Dragon Ball fighting games. So I think this is like one of the biggest selling games on Steam right now. So it's nice to see, like, because I feel like fighting games have been really good the past couple of years. You've got stuff like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and Tekken, and you have your anime fighters, your Guilty Gears, your Dragon Balls, I guess they're all kind of just like Japanese fighters, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see what people are saying. Truly a masterpiece. No need to download and emulate and parsec with a modded BT3 ISO files anymore. Online mode is smooth as butter, combat's very smooth, and feels so amazing. Still good. And a new mechanic which are truly amazing and fun. So this isn't a remaster of a game. This is a brand new game, right? He's just saying that one of the older games was the best way to play them, right?
It's like just like playing with the character.
Yeah. 8 out of 10 game. Visuals are stunning as I could ever imagine for a Dragon Ball game. The mechanics and gameplay are solid. The major downside of the game is that the story mode seems lackluster. Sparkling Zero is more of an online-focused installment of the Dragon Ball games. If you're looking for an adventure-based experience, this will not meet your needs. So it seems like, except the story mode, the game is 10 out of 10. So what I'm seeing here is the online play is very strong. The overall play is very strong, but it's not like an excellent... You're going to sit down and just play the story mode. And like, I don't know if this would be... You're a single-player fighter game, Tony, so this might not be the one for you if you're looking to just, go and slam story mode and get like a interesting cinematic experience. I don't know. What do you think?
It's not swaying me in any other way, so I guess it's for the fans, right? That's just how I see it.
It's similar to plays I've gamed Dragon Ball FighterZ. I did technically play Dragon Ball FighterZ on a free weekend. Okay. Yeah, there was a free weekend for it, and I played it, and I was very confused. Not knowing any Dragon Ball characters and not playing fighting games. The 11th of October, Starship Troopers Extermination came out. It's a 16-player co-op FPS that puts you on the far front lines of an all-out battle with bugs. I'm wondering how popular this game will be based on the fact that Helldivers 2 came out at the start of this year and kind of stole the Starship Troopers like swag To put it in a word. Let's have a look. Wish this could coexist along Helldivers without the constant comparisons, but alas, that's not going to happen. This is a different game from Helldivers, where this is a small strike force sent behind enemy lines and can be extremely frustrating depending on the difficulty you select and the materials you're trying to collect. This game has you join an expeditionary force of 16 other players to take down bugs. Both titles have a hectic extraction run at the end of the mission, although I prefer the Starship Troopers model here. It's a blast. The update adding persistent corpses made the game play quite a different as well. Ample classes, lots of loadout. Could use a few more maps. It's difficult not to admire the weather effects that Helldivers offers. Just a squad. Join a squad, drop into the war, build a base, destroy the bugs, get out. I'm doing my part. Yeah, I feel like Helldivers built a lot of its like identity off that idea of like hyper democracy, but also like that role playing of being like a Starship Trooper universe. Like, I'm doing my part.
Very military based democracy. Yeah.
Time for one of my favorite lines in Helldivers 2 is "Time for a cup of liberty." Like,
just deliberately embarrassing it.
It seems like a lot of people are looking at this after playing Helldivers 2 and going, "Oh, what's this?" And then it's like a bit different, where you have like this big 16-player squad rather than a tight 4-player co-op experience. So it seems a bit different. It's got more mixed reviews. And also, okay, I talked about the last podcast. I said, I don't understand how Yakuza releases like 3 100-hour games in like a span of a year.
Yeah.
How is Atlas releasing 3 100-hour fucking JRPGs in one? We've just had Persona 3 Reload, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and we're now getting a brand new IP that is essentially fantasy Persona in Metaphor ReFantazio, and people fucking love this. Like, I don't understand like how they keep doing it. Like, Atlas has been on a fucking roll recently. But yeah, I am very excited to play this. I really want to play this. I'm so excited. I saw a post recently where the director of the Atlas game, Persona and Atlas and Fantasio games was saying like he was saying it takes so fucking long to just build the UI menus in these games, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can like
I can see that.
He was like, you want to build like these unique, really interesting menus, but you also have to make sure that they're instantly readable and you can actually use them. And I think like there's a fucking art form to this, and the Atlas team just destroys it every single time. Like, UI is insane. Music is nuts. Like, I'm really excited to play this. I really, really want to play Metaphor ReFantazio. I know it's going to consume like at least a couple of months of my life. And I did see some, because I'm trying not to watch any real gameplay of this because I want to go in blind and not have the story spoiled, but I did see some brief gameplay, and it seems like in Persona you could attack people from behind to get an advantageous attack. But it seems like they've kind of extended the real-time stuff a little bit more, where you can, like, on smaller enemies, you can kind of, like, hack and slash fight them, and if you can kill them quick enough, you can actually, like, attack and block enemies before the actual turn-based combat thing, which I think is really cool to see. Also, it's a game that's not set in a high school, so...
That's always good.
That's always interesting to see, yeah. Although I did see that all of the DLC, you can put the characters into the different uniforms from the different games. So, like, you have...
Interesting.
I immediately recognized the Gekkoukan High School from Persona 3. I think this is Persona 4, the Yasugami, and then Shujin is very recognizable to be Persona 5. The other ones, I guess, are from the other Persona games, but I haven't played those / recognize them sort of thing. But yeah, if you want them to look like high schoolers still, Tony, you can dress them up as high schoolers. And I'm sure there's I'm sure there's maid costumes and stuff, as there is in Persona 3.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm like Persona 3 Reload is up there for my game of the year, and they're releasing another game that people and critics seem to love. So it's like, yeah, it's a crazy year for Atlas. Let's move on to
quick question before we move
Yep.
on. And then made costumes for the men. That I think we need.
There's butler uniforms.
No.
No, I don't think there is any like gender swapped costumes that you can put on in Persona 3 from my knowledge. There's knight uniforms in Persona 3. There's maid stuff. There's like beachwear. There's like bikinis and stuff. These are all just bonus costumes I unlocked from playing the game. Although I think I might have had because I played the Game Pass version, and I think the Game Pass version had the bonus DLC. Like I could have Persona 5 characters in my Game Pass game, and I think that was DLC content.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, it's a good year to become a Persona fan. That's all I'm going to say, Tony, because you are going to be eating really fucking good if you like Persona games. Because this is like Final Fantasy Persona. It's like fantasy Persona. Like it looks really, really good.
Yeah, good times.
It's a brand new IP, which I think is really interesting as well.
More I've seen it does seem like good JRPG mechanics. So yeah, it's nice to see that.
Mm-hmm. Then let's move on to gaming handhelds. Dredge is coming to mobile and Mac on December 18th, so you'll be able to play Android, iOS, and Mac OS, cross-save some iOS and Mac, optimized for touch, but you can use a controller. I think it's interesting to see, like, there's a bunch of random indie games that are going onto phones recently, and even bigger games, like we're seeing, like, Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil on mobile.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess phones are just getting that powerful.
Death Stranding. Balatro just was another indie game that just came to mobile. I think that was the perfect platform for it personally, but Dredge is one I'm sort of more like Dredge feels a bit more niche. Like, I don't know what you think about this, but I'm like, I don't know if I would want to play Dredge. Like, I could definitely see myself playing Dredge on the Steam Deck, but I don't know how good it's going to translate over to touch controls. I have to wait and see.
I'm gonna be honest. A lot of the games I think wouldn't work well with normal phone-sized touchscreen controls. I feel like a lot of them don't work.
Yeah, I mean, I played Hades on my phone through Netflix, and I would say it worked, but it wasn't a great experience. And then also I played GTA on my phone. I was like, it does kind of work, but I think this would be infinitely better with a controller.
One question I don't know the answer is, like, how many people buy controllers for their phone?
Almost none. I think people who have phone controllers outside of like maybe Asia is like almost none. There is the weird gaming handheld enthusiasts, and then there's like no one else.
Are they targeting Asian markets? Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know.
So for the longest time, I think it was like in China, consoles were banned and PC gaming was not popular. So phone gaming got really popular in places like China and Asia. Like I know phone gaming is very popular in Japan. I think phone gaming is popular in places like Korea. But like, I definitely know like people seem to play way more like iOS, Android games over there. So if they're trying to do this to appeal to the Asia market, I could say, based on the fact that like China is by far the biggest market on the whole of Steam, like this could make a lot of sense. Speaking of gaming handhelds, the Steam Deck is officially releasing in Australia. So you have not been able to get a Steam Deck in Australia. I think what most people were doing was buying them from like grey market companies that were like importing them from other places. But they're making it so you can finally actually officially buy a Steam Deck in Australia. I know like Dank Pods, it's like he was complaining about the fact that it was really hard to get a Steam Deck in Australia, the YouTuber. And it's going to be releasing for 649 didgeridoo bucks for the Australian dollars for the LCD 256 gigabytes, the base model. I don't know how much that is in real money though. in didgeridoo bucks. I'm guessing it's pretty much the same as it is in. How much did your OLED cost? Do you remember at all? Okay, so 1,000 Australian dollars is like £500. Okay. So yeah, I think the 1 terabyte OLED is about £500. I'll look it up. So look. Steam Deck OLED. Scroll. £569. So yeah. It's around the same price, which is nice to see. They're not like charging a big premium for the Australian one. I don't think Valve would do that anyway. Because they've already done the effort of like they did a massive push to put the Steam Deck into like Japan and the other Asian countries. I remember, and you know, if you already got the ability to ship out there, like Australia's not too far from Japan, sort of thing. I mean, I understand like maps, it is a lot further than it looks, but it is like probably not, especially considering the fact Gabe Newell lives in New Zealand. Like, yeah. Tony says his internet's gone a bit dodgy. So look. Oh, speaking of Steam, let's get on to Steam news. Steam now tells gamers upfront you're buying a license, not a game. I think this has always been the case, but they're just making it like more like readily available the information that you don't actually own the digital product. I think even when you're buying like physical copies of games with like on CDs, you're still buying a license, but it's just not as obvious that it is because you can technically sell it and then somebody else will get the license to that. But the whole thing that people are saying, well, you can't resell your Steam games. Whereas with like a physical CD, you can choose to sell that. And I think because Steam has said like, if you die and you bequeath your Steam account to somebody else, legally, they won't allow you to transfer that over. But obviously you could just write down your Steam password and put it in your will and then just give it to them and then they could just take it over. But basically this has made more people more like cautious of actually owning physical media and like the fact that you don't own your Steam games. But I think like for the license you're paying on Steam, like the amount of support and stuff like workshop and discussions and cloud saves and stuff like that far outweighs the actual positive of having a actual like ownership over it. Like I know like I always prefer to play my games on Steam, especially with stuff like a Steam Deck. Like there is a lot of value add from owning a license of a game on Steam. Like I would love to physically own the games and be able to resell them, especially the ones I don't like and can't refund anymore. But I think this is just, it's not a Steam thing. I think it's a video game thing. I mean, like, the only other people out there are GOG, who put out a statement which was reminding everyone it's offline installers cannot be taken away from you. Like, when you buy a game on GOG, you will always own that game.
I think my only issue with this is if you like kicked off Steam, like you don't have like, I don't know. There seems to be some contract and licensing problems. Like I feel like there's some.
Okay, so I was thinking about this,
stuff.
and because people bring up the argument, well, if Steam doesn't want you to own those games, suddenly they could revoke your license and be like, right, you're gone from Steam. You no longer own those games you bought. But also, I think about the counter argument where when I'm playing a multiplayer game and someone's cheating, I would want their license to be revoked and they to not be able to play the game anymore.
Yeah, but there is a middle ground though. They're not allowed to play the multiplayer. Like you've done them on multiplayer, not they can't play the. Like say there's a game with single player and multiplayer, they cheat on multiplayer. I personally do not think it's right to ban them from playing the game. It should be just they can't play multiplayer. That's the difference. I feel like there's definitely a middle ground where like it makes way more sense.
The problem is like because you want to physically own the things you purchase.
Sure.
The problem is when you engage in multiplayer activity, you're kind of agreeing to like an EULA, like you're agreeing to not edit the code and ruin the online experience for other people.
But I still see it as two very distinct functions, and I don't think it's that difficult to go. We're not going to allow you to connect to our multiplayer server, but we're still allowed you to access our store. Like I don't see that as a very difficult thing to do. That's just the stance they're taking.
And then GOG was also saying, GOG will let you bequeath your game library to somebody else as long as you can prove you're actually dead. Accounts aren't transferable by GOG. It's willing to make it happen with a little help from the legal system.
Again, just transfer your password, I guess. But...
I do think it's very funny if you just message GOG going, well, I'm dead.
I'm dead. I can prove it.
Yep, says here. I'm definitely dead.
That is funny.
Okay, so what do you think about because obviously you have the ability to buy some of your games on GOG, but me and you both buy our games on Steam.
I do buy games on GOG from time to time.
I buy games on GOG from time to time, but because the games I buy are ones that are only available on GOG. Like I buy Star Trek Elite Voyager Elite Command Force, and I'm like, I can only get this on GOG because it's only being supported here. But if I have the choice of it, so like, say a game comes out, Tony, it's like it's going to release on Steam and it's going to release on GOG.
Yeah.
You have the option to buy it at the same price on a DRM-free version. I still choose the Steam version because I really like the usability of having it in one place and being able to use it on my Steam Deck and having a cloud save between my Steam Deck and my Steam library.
So I'm a Wilkes. I don't care at all about the cloud save. Like I don't use it. Like I'm okay just transferring files if I need to. Like I don't see.
Do you never pick up a game on your Steam Deck and then pick it up on your PC or go from PC to Steam Deck ever?
No, because most of the time I get not synced properly. I have so many issues with syncing cloud saves. Like I genuinely have so many issues.
So this is a big. It's a big issue with syncing cloud saves between Linux and Windows. I think if you were running Linux on your PC, it would be a lot easier.
Oh yeah, sure. But I still have issues from Windows to Windows. Like I closed the game. It's like, oh, we couldn't sync your data. It's like, why? I haven't done anything. Like I generally just have so many issues. Like
a lot of games I've been playing on both have been like Balatro works really well. Slay the Spire works well. Dave the Diver works well. Ratchet and Clank work well. Like a lot of games that I've just been playing on both I haven't had any issues recently. I don't know if you've tested out.
I don't care. But it's like if I need to transfer over, like, is it that difficult to plug something in to transfer the files if I need it? I just don't see that as an issue. Like it's just normal file transferring.
Yeah, it's definitely a bigger barrier to entry, though. I would say.
Sure. It's definitely a convenience thing. I think
I did check it. So there's a popular Decky plugin called Junk Store, which was made for the Epic Game Store, which basically allows you to download and install Epic Games and apply Proton onto them directly through the Steam Deck game UI, the game mode UI.
Yeah.
So you can basically browse and install games and play them without having to go into desktop mode and using controller support, which is really cool. And I did look, and apparently GOG support has been added to that. So if you have GOG games that you want to play on your Steam Deck, you can use the GOG extension on Junk Store. I haven't tested this out, but it seemed like from the video I saw, it looked like it worked pretty well. That is nice that if you do buy GOG games, you still do have an option to easily install and play them through the Steam Deck, which is nice.
I will say this, like going back to your original question, is like or original premise of like if it was like two different stores and Steam is one of them. But
Mhm.
I think Steam's platform is definitely like the best one.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, I just find Epic and the Microsoft Store really bad. I do not have a problem loading stuff with the GOG one at all. The GOG application is really easy to use.
Yeah, GOG is fine.
So and most of my and I've got it all integrated, so like I can just use GOG. I mean, I still have to launch it in the background to like
I mean,
there was EA stuff, right?
There was literally an advantage to the GOG version this year because of Fallout London and the fact that if you own the GOG version, you have access to every single build of the game, and you can down the build to every single version of the game, and people were able to get the older version of Fallout 4 before Bethesda decided to fix Fallout 4. I'm doing air quotation marks, right? Make an updated version of Fallout 4, and it made installing that mod a lot easier.
So to me, I'm at a point in my life is that I'm okay with some of the busy work, and I get people just want to press play and do stuff. But like to me, the only thing that's like really superior to Steam that why I keep going to Steam are the sales. Like that's it. Like I can deal with other problems. I think or other differences at other stores.
Like even if GOG was to aggressively price match or beat Steam, I still prefer the usability and ease of Steam and its features, and again, like we may not agree, but I'm somebody who doesn't need to own his games. Like I love Game Pass. Like I'm okay with not owning a lot of things.
Yeah. I think Game Pass is very explicit. Like you don't own the game. I feel like we don't. I don't know. I can see a future. I mean, I can see a future either where
Gabe Newell dies.
To that work. Yeah,
then
Gabe Newell dies, and then
who's
there's
the
some
most
dumb
evil
decision.
Who's the most evil person to take over? Randy Pitchford takes over.
Bobby Kotick and Randy Pitchford join together.
Yeah, they join together and they take over Steam. And they go, well, those Steam licenses, you don't own them anymore.
Well, I could genuinely see like a future where like something happens to the company, but like maybe it transfers over fine, and maybe it doesn't. Like, but then something else, a decision is made, a corporate decision is made, and suddenly we lose access to a huge amount of our games, and they go, "Whoa, it was only a license that we were provided," and like I think that would be the switch. I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna try and own my games, but we're not there yet. Steam has been honest for the most part. Like, I just feel like I don't have a problem with having services we don't own the games, but like I just feel like I don't know what's in your head, but my head is like I want to be able to own these games in my library. To me, it's my library, and no one should be able to touch it. Like Game Pass, that's a different story. Like if I don't really like Games Pass, but like if I had a Games Pass account, I don't know if you. Oh, that's my library.
Yeah, I mean, with Game Pass getting more expensive recently, like I've already pre-purchased a bunch of game time because it was cheaper, but. I am more so being like now, I kind of wish I owned Persona 3 Reload because I want to play the DLC and I want to play it on Steam and I want to play it on my Steam Deck. Yeah. But it's like a lot of the games I played on Game Pass, I'm just fine with not owning. It's just specific games that I wish I did quote unquote own, quote unquote. Because like when me and my friend were playing Game Pass, he kept saying like, oh, I literally own this game on Game Pass. And I was like, yeah, until the paid subscription you have to that game is over, and then you don't literally own it anymore. Which I guess could, you could say, well, if Steam revokes your license, you won't literally own that game on Steam anymore. But
yeah, I would say it's more of an ownership. It's like it's a grey area, right?
And we even have recently Horizon Zero Dawn got a remaster, and Steam's like, well, we're pulling the original version of Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. And you now have this one that requires a PlayStation Network account to play. So if you didn't already own that, you've got to make a PSN account.
Yeah.
Which also means that people who don't own Horizon Zero Dawn cannot play it in a bunch of countries for no reason.
Yeah.
Tony, you want to talk about the Nintendo clock, or do you have more to say on
this? Let's go to Nintendo clock. Nintendo news.
I just, like, last week I was so confused by, like, what the fuck Nintendo's doing, and then they're like, by the way, we've got a new hardware announcement, and everyone's like, the Switch 2, the Super Switch? And they're like, it's a fucking £90 alarm clock. Oh yeah, by the way, Tony, in order to order this alarm clock, you need a Nintendo Online subscription to order it. So not only do you need £90, you need to be paying for a Nintendo Online subscription because I think they're physically selling them in like the new Nintendo stores. And but I should say to currently order it, you need Nintendo Online subscription.
Yeah. But you have the early access sort of.
Yeah,
early,
I don't think it's a requirement, but they also because currently what they've said is, I'm scared to even full screen this with like how much they've been DMCAing like YouTubers on Nintendo stuff. But
they're doing so. Yeah, they're getting weird again.
They're getting weird. Do you remember when there was a time where I was like, I'd like to talk about Nintendo games, but I literally cannot show any Nintendo gameplay, otherwise I'll get DMCA.
Do you remember what we did to show it? We showed the Red Dwarf Season 6 episode 2 Legion episode for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, where he's like, oh, I love this art piece. What's it called? That's the light switch.
The light switch. So I can't buy it then. No, I need to turn the lights on and off.
But yeah, basically, it's a £90 alarm clock, and essentially has like 4 or 5 alarms based on different games. So there's like a Zelda, Splatoon, Mario. I can't remember what the other one was.
Can I just say what this looks like to me? Like, it looks like a 3D printed enclosure with a Pi Pico with a screen on the front of it, with some buttons. Like why was it £90?
But basically, so the key feature of this alarm clock is it has a motion sensor in it, so it like detects when you move.
That's not
and then
expensive.
It's like, oh, I have the Mario alarm clock. When I move, it'll play like block sounds and like.
We've had motion sensors for decades.
Coins and stuff like that.
It's just an infrared camera with a lens on it.
And then the other key feature is there's like they're trying to like gamify. It's like, oh, yesterday you woke up after like 30 seconds. Today you woke up after 20 seconds. You're improving your time of waking up.
So it's for kids then? Like it is. Like
I think it's for kids.
It's just so expensive though.
But people are pointing out the fact that like people are saying, yeah, I used to set my favorite song as an alarm, and then I got sick of it so fucking quick. So it's Zelda, Mario, Pikmin. And Splatoon. Is it all of them? What was the other one at the back? Oh, Ring Fit Adventure was the very memorable IP that Nintendo has. Ring Fit Adventure.
What is Ring Fit?
You've never seen Ring Fit? It's the one where you get the Switch controllers and you put them in like a band, and then you do it. It's like the it's the Wii Fit of the Switch, basically.
Wii Fit, yeah. Oh god.
But the reason they want you to have that Nintendo Switch Online subscription is so they can give you 5 alarms, and then later down the line they'll give you another game as an alarm.
Right. But why not just have an Android alarm clock with a screen that you can then just like and someone else? Like maybe it's a coding project. Like make it yourself.
This seems like a junk product, but I don't know.
I don't know. As someone who's like I'm willing to tinker, like I feel like I could recreate something very similar myself if I just like bought some components and tinkered with it.
Because they're like because they've announced that more alarms will be added via free updates, and it's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Animal Crossing. But
yeah, no.
Nintendo account and internet connection required.
Shape. Like it's not like Mario holding an alarm. Like that'd be kind of cool. Or like it pops up from a pipe. Like that'd be kind of interesting if it was like mechanically very interesting.
Oh, imagine like the Link one was just the very hey, listen.
Yeah.
Hey,
like it pops out of something in like a pocket. Like it's a big pocket. It pops out and goes, hey, listen. I'd be down with that.
Somebody says, finally, all those iconic Nintendo sound effects that people have grown to love over the years have the chance to grow into the noise that people hate more than any other noise on the planet.
Yeah.
Imagine the sheer horror of trying to get 5 more minutes of sleep only to be disturbed by Guardian music. Oh, apparently the noises get like more persistent as it goes. Like it starts out with like relaxing Mario music, and it's like Bowser boss music. You have to wake up.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I think that makes sense because then you're not listening to the start. Yeah, I think that actually makes sense to me. I think that's fine, and it'd be more varied, I suppose. But I just feel there should be like in each theme there should be like multiple ways of multiple tracks, I suppose, so you don't get bored of it or don't get annoyed with it.
Yeah, a £90 alarm clock with an optional sub price attached to it. Like
it just sounds like
And then somebody says, I wish Nintendo would announce new hardware. Monkey paw curls. Like their wish has been granted in the worst possible way. Fucking hell. I don't know. I think people will forget everything. Like they'll forget about the DMCA. They'll forget about the emulator.
Yeah.
DMCA. They'll forget about the weird alarm clock. As soon as that Switch 2 comes out, people will love Nintendo again. Blunders. PlayStation suddenly pulls Hotline Miami 2 from Australian PS5 owners after realizing the country's rating board had denied the game's release a decade ago, which I think is very funny. So the Australia ACB ruled the game to not be allowed in Australia due to a skippable sexual violence scene in Hotline Miami 2. The game was given out for PlayStation Plus and added to PS Extra, so people thought it was fine now, but the ACB decided to enforce the ruling again, so Sony had to refund people who bought it and removed the game from the store and libraries, as they would be heavily fined otherwise. Ruling was enforced against the Switch last year when the same thing happened.
I think we say this every time. It's like it's so sweet to be like you have like an 18+ game. So anyone like you have to be an adult.
Do you want to hear the most base thing? Devolver Digital has responded to Eurogamer. So Eurogamer has received the following visual statement from Hotline Miami 2 publisher Devolver Digital in response to today's news. They posted an image of a Hotline Miami 2 character going, "Good times never last." This is their response to the news, which I just think is so funny. I just thought it was so humorous that it took them like a decade to figure out that they're not supposed. PlayStation's like, oh shit, we're not supposed to let people play Hotline Miami 2 in Australia. Get this shit off of here.
Yeah.
It's really
that's even a thing though.
It's really the oh shit, I forgot to take the bins out.
That is hilarious. That is the blunder, yeah, for sure. But I also argue that Australian government is also blundering, but double blunder.
Let's move on to Microsoft news and then we'll end the podcast. Microsoft will soon let people buy and stream Xbox games directly in the Xbox app on Android following the Google US ruling. So, as the court ruling to open up Google's mobile store in the US will allow more choice and flexibility, they're now making it so the Android app of Microsoft will let you directly purchase and play Microsoft games in order to avoid the Google tax that they have on the store of the Android. I think it's kind
I've not looked too deep into the ruling, but it sounded pretty good for the most part.
And then next up we have big news here. 343 is name swapping to Halo Studios and is officially moving to Unreal Engine 5. So Halo.
You don't understand what the reference is.
Yeah, I'm dubious about this. I mean, I think like obviously I don't know. Have you seen the video of the? It looks really good. I would say like the actual graphics of it. I just have
is this just the basic engine graphics? Basically.
They're basically going, look.
So
we want to
grain of salt, but here's what we could show.
They're basically trying to start afresh, and
but I know the graphics were memed on, but like I feel like shouldn't we be like hyper focused on the gameplay and like the
they say they have a new philosophy. A new philosophy when it comes to the games, which I think they need to do because the direction they've been going in recently has not been the greatest. And they've also, because like I think the tech demo they're showing is called Foundry, which is very funny considering like that's like the building mode inside Halo.
Didn't they? That the one they removed or didn't support or shut down at some point?
It's been added to Halo Infinite, but it wasn't there at launch, I believe.
Okay, it's that thing. Okay.
Yeah. But I think visually it's like impressive what they've been able to achieve with Unreal Engine 5. Sure. It's another game studio who had their own unique in-house tech, and they're now moving to a completely different tech base. This
are
will
we gonna-
allow them to like streamline the process, bring in more outside developers, hire more people.
Sure.
Um,
But whatever issues the platform has, though, they're going to have to either solve or ignore.
Yeah.
So are we going to get stutters again? Has that been solved yet?
yeah, I think it's better with Unreal Engine 5, but again,
Yeah, it's better, but there's still issues.
we just seen Silent Hill 2's come out with stutters on Unreal Engine 5, so
I just feel like there's more to it that like needs to be exposed by the game so devs can fix it, and I think that's part of the problem. I think it's just a technical thing that's difficult to solve.
yeah. I think the Halo team over at Microsoft definitely does need a big shake-up. They need to do something bigger because, like, I think Infinite was like a pretty fun game. It was just so like it just launched so bare bones that there was just nothing there. Like, I think there was like an interesting game there, but
is the engine the problem? Was it just their philosophy for what they were designing?
I don't know. Like
the package, like it didn't seem to be an engine problem to me.
Just going back and playing like all of the Halo games, I could track which games I like based on whether they were made by Bungie or 343.
Yeah.
And playing like, and the horror of playing Halo 4, I was like, this sucks so fucking much. I don't know. Like, I think the idea of moving to Unreal Engine 5 is they could even bring people from other Microsoft studios to come over and be like, oh.
Yeah.
Say, for example, you take, like, Arcane Leon, like, they've been working... does Arcane work in Unreal Engine now? They used to use the Void engine. What engine was Redfall running in? Because that was Arcane Austin as well.
Yeah,
that was. So
I think
they were working in Unreal Engine.
But even if it's not a big name studio, though, they're definitely support studios that either they contract out inside of Microsoft that would know Unreal, right? Like that's the point you're making. It's like there's more help that could be had.
The thing is, Microsoft has an insane talent pool. I would like to see them bring more just random. I've been Ninja Theory Halo game. Let Ninja Theory make a Halo game.
I feel like Microsoft has a huge talent pool that is heavily mismanaged, and that won't happen.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what's going to happen with this, but I'll be interested to see, like, because I think like people have been calling for 343 to stop making Halo games, and if a name change and a complete philosophy and engine change doesn't shake up the studio, then I think, give Halo to somebody else, because this seems like it's just like if this doesn't work, then you just got to completely start again and just give it to a different studio.
Who actually controls the rights though? Like who actually? Like I know it's like it's like a nightmare of like sub. Yeah. So is it Microsoft that owns it, and then it's like a sub?
I think Microsoft owns all of Halo.
Yeah, but sure, okay. But then, like, does the development studio entirely controlled by Microsoft, or is it one of the things where I can't remember who it was? But it's like it's technically, I guess it was.
I think the 343 is wholly owned by Microsoft, and then the Bungie made a bunch of the Halo games, but Microsoft retained the IP when they went off to go and make Destiny.
But originally Bungie was actually completely owned by Microsoft as well, but then they got out, so that they're still operating as their own company owned by Microsoft inside Microsoft. It's like there's like a complicated mess of stuff.
Well,
also,
the funny thing is, Bungie made Halo, and then they went off and they got bought out by Activision Blizzard, and then they made Destiny under Activision Blizzard, and then Microsoft goes to purchase Microsoft Blizzard, and then before they do, Bungie leaves again, so they're not owned by Microsoft. I think coincidence. And then they got bought out by Sony. Sony purchased them.
Yeah. So, I think Bungie we knew is gone, and I think Halo is kind of gone at this point. At least what we know.
What I've heard is that like the new Marathon extraction shooter is testing really poorly with audience reception, like market testing. So, like, as somebody who's not interested in Destiny, I just don't really know what's going on with Bungie at the moment.
Yeah, but I'm more interested in Destiny than I am with Marathon. Though. I don't really.
I would be interested in a single-player co-op multiplayer Marathon game, like an actual FPS campaign, sort of like a classic Halo game.
Yeah, 100%. A co-op FPS game. That's what an idea.
Well, they only seem to work on live service stuff now. So,
Yeah,
and that I think that was
That
the
sucks.
idea of Halo Infinite, was they wanted to make a live service
Yeah.
game. Like, okay, this will be the base for all the Halo games, and we'll just. And then they released
Add
it
to it.
without any content, and then people were like, "Well,
Yeah.
we don't want to play this." I don't know.
Yeah. And then just when you do that, you're stuck with that engine, or more or less stuck with that engine for a long period of time because they can't break it.
Let's
immediately,
read the Peter
of.
Molydeux tweet, and then we'll end the podcast. Imagine a 10-hour game, but every time you get 8 hours in, we create a patch that makes you delete your save. Wouldn't that be that's a revolutionary idea right there?
Surely, but surely at some point the devs are going to forget and don't patch it.
What if there's a patch that goes live every 8 hours cyclical?
What if you don't update
Checkmate.
your internet? You turn
Playing in offline mode. That
yeah,
guys, I've got the GOG version. I just go to the previous patch.
yeah.
You can check us out, youtube.com at Everything In Between Podcast, twitch.tv/Scorn if you want to watch live, and shows.acast.com/everything-in-between-podcast. There'll be links to Apple Podcast and Spotify if you want to listen to the audio-only version, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.